everybody, welcome to a special edition of Nnscra Radio here at 1620 BCBM, Nelson, New York. And, of course, this is a special topic which warranted a special spur-of-the-moment segment, if you will, to talk about this whole thing that's going on concerning the incidents that took place at Martinsville. Now, of course, during the last segment back on Monday, I already discussed my standpoint on what went down in those particular wrecks with Danica Patrick, David Gilliland, and then, of course, the big one with Matt Kenseth and Joey Logano. And a lot of people have been really up in arms about what's going on with all of this. They've been all over social media. There's been this hashtag Save Matt. I'm seriously going to say right now, I agree with them in the fact that I do not feel that the penalty that was given Kenseth was at all warranted. But I'm going to do a little bit more of expounding on it to basically give my opinion on why NASCAR was incorrect in the penalty that they gave to Matt Kenseth following that Martinsville race. All right, first off, let's take a look at the thing that took place with Kenseth and Logano. Kenseth gets into his left rear quarter panel, turns him up the racetrack. I already explained in Monday's segment that more than likely, when he made the contact, that's what made the right front go down, and that's why the hit was so violent when the two of them went up into the outside wall. More than likely, what Matt was trying to do was simply either spin Joey Logano out or push him up the racetrack. I don't think Kenseth intentionally meant to wreck his own car in the process or have either of them take the violent hit that they did. I think that the fact the tire went down after the contact with Logano was the chief factor into why they both hit the wall so hard. The intent was there, however, the end result was not what I think Matt Kenseth was shooting for. With that being said, you look at the incident between Danica Patrick and David Gilliland. Danica Patrick actually followed David Gilliland up the racetrack into the wall. There you could see there was clear intent. She wanted to purposely wreck him, and she was going to make sure she finished off the job. Alright, so now let's weigh the penalties side by side. Danica Patrick clearly intentionally wanting to wreck David Gilliland. She was fined $50,000 and the loss of 25 Series Championship driver points. She was also placed on probation through December 31st. However, for Matt Kenseth, he ends up getting suspended for 2 races. 2-race suspension for a wreck that wasn't nearly as blatantly purposed as Danica Patrick's. Now, Joe Gibbs Racing is planning to appeal this. Their appeal is actually set for tomorrow and 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time in Concord, North Carolina. They'll be addressing the National Motorsports Appeals Panel. Now, there's also a little side thing of that Kenseth is currently on 571 consecutive Sprint Cup Series starts since the beginning of the 2000 season, and this could put that in jeopardy. That really doesn't matter. Here's where I see it. Alright, this whole thing really boils down to one person's fault, and that's Joey Logano. Why? Well, let's go back to Kansas. He ends up spinning Matt Kenseth out for the win at Kenseth. Now, I'm not going to fault Joey Logano for what he did. I'm not going to fault him for the fact that, okay, he said Kenseth was blocking him. He wasn't going to take it anymore. He stuck it in there. Kenseth blocked. He turns him. Okay, that's just hard racing. But the fact is, Logano decided to do absolutely nothing about it, decided to play the innocent and say he felt that he did what he had to do, did not in any way offer any kind of apology or explanation to Matt Kenseth, simply stated that he felt he was in the right, that's all there was going to be. He knew, he had to have known during that week after that race, Kenseth was hot. Kenseth was upset because Kenseth now was going to have to go into a must-win situation at Talladega. Joey Logano must have known that he ticked Matt Kenseth off, and in knowing that Kenseth could, quotes, possibly still be a competitor against him when they made it into the Challenger round, Logano should have gone out of his way to at least give some kind of explanation or at least try and work out the problem with Matt Kenseth. But instead, he decided to be stupid, decided to dig in his heels, and he ended up paying the price for it at Martinsville. Logano set up the current events that led up to him getting wrecked at Martinsville, which he could have easily avoided if he had grown up, been a man, approached Matt Kenseth, said, okay, here's where I stand, I know where you stand, but can we smooth it over and focus on our own goals of trying to continue on in the chase? Never did that. Never ever did that, never offered any explanation, never ever tried to make any contact with Matt Kenseth as far as I'm concerned, simply stated his case, stuck with it, and then Matt Kenseth decides, okay, you're going to stay that way? All right, I'm going to wreck you there at Martinsville. NASCAR with the whole boys have at it thing, and then they decide, okay, since this has huge championship implications, blah, 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 we're gonna penalize and suspend the 20 car. When the thing was clearly not nearly as blatant as the Danica Patrick incident. But, oh, wait a minute. Those two drivers, Gilliland and Patrick, they're not battling for a championship. They weren't up there in points, so we're just going to fine them, even though it was more of a blatant thing than what happened with Kenseth and Logano. And they cannot say that Patrick and Gilliland didn't have a history. I said in the Monday episode that David Gilliland and Danica Patrick have had a rivalry going all the way back to 2013 at Kansas. So it's been there. It's still there. And it's continued going on. So NASCAR cannot say, oh, this was just a one-race thing. This just happened, this rivalry here between Patrick and Gilliland. No, it hasn't. There's been at least 2 other times that it's taken place. One time was Kansas 2013. I think the other one was Daytona. I can't remember if that was 2013 as well or if that was in 2014. This has been going on, though, for over 2 years between Patrick and Gilliland. So the rivalry's there. The Kenseth-Logano thing only has been going on, as far as I'm aware, for 2 weeks since Kansas. 2 weeks ago. Well, 2 weeks ago from Martinsville. And also keep in mind that Kenseth never made any kind of contact or any kind of aggressive moves with Joey Logano. And there were a couple of times when he could have. I watched the Talladega race. They were close to each other a couple of times. Kenseth never did anything. Of course, he was in a must-win situation. He couldn't afford something like that. But, doesn't matter. He still could have. He didn't. But, I mean, I don't know. I just don't understand it. I really don't. So, my opinion, if NASCAR does not, or if this, the Appeals Council does not clear Matt Kenseth, who, by the way, I believe is not going himself to appeal it. I think it's Joe Gibbs Racing that's going to do it for him. Then this is a travesty of justice, as far as I'm concerned. Yeah, Matt Kenseth had nothing to lose. He was out of the chase for the championship. Joey Logano still battling for the chase for the championship. But again, like I said, it goes all the way back to Joey Logano's fault for not trying to smooth over the ice at Kansas after that incident. Instead, he decided to play the innocent party. Which, okay, maybe he was. Doesn't matter. You know Matt Kenseth's got a temper. He went after your teammate after a Richmond race between the haulers and got into a fist fight with your teammate Brad Keselowski. You know he's got a temper. You gotta get out of your little box of security, try and make amends, knowing this guy could be a factor into whether you're going to win the championship or not, regardless of whether he makes it into the next round at Talladega. It doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. You got to smooth it over, and Logano never did that. Logano never made any efforts for it. He decided to stick with his corner. Kenseth, of course, was going to stick to his corner, and then the end result is they fight it out, and Kenseth puts a knockout blow on him at Martinsville. I don't know. I just do not understand. In my opinion, NASCAR, quite honestly, shouldn't have even gotten involved in the situation because they've only made matters worse. I don't know. I really don't. But as far as I'm concerned, I am 100% behind what Matt Kenseth did. The end result was not what I believe he was shooting for. I'm sure he'll take it, but I don't think it was what he was shooting for. In my opinion, NASCAR has looked at this as more blatant than it really, I think, was planned to be. So that's merely my opinion. Now, if you guys agree with me, disagree with me, let me know down in the comments below this video. Just figured I'd come on here, get a little bit of a rant going on here to let you guys know what my opinion is on the situation and how stupid it is that NASCAR decides to come in, put a suspension on something that wasn't nearly as blatant as something else that took place in that race, and yet there's only a $50,000 fine and a 25-point dock. Okay, so then fine Matt Kenseth and dock him 25 points. It's not going to really hurt him. He's out of the chase anyway. But dock him 25 points. Just like 25-point docking isn't going to hurt Danica Patrick, because she's not going to be battling for anything. She's not a rookie this year, so it's not going to hurt her in Rookie of the Year points. She's nowhere close to the top 10 in the points standings. Was nowhere close to the chase, to making the chase this season, so it's not going to hurt her. Seems like another kind of case of favoritism, if you will. Oh boy, we can't penalize Danica Patrick. Can't give her a suspension. Oh boy. So NASCAR, once again, sticks their foot in where it doesn't belong, and NASCAR fans are irate. Thanks, guys, for watching this kind of ad-lib episode, if you will, here of Nnscra Radio. We'll see you guys next time here. Next Monday, we'll be talking about the results of the race from Texas Motor Speedway. So hope you'll tune in for that. You've been listening to Nnscra Radio on 1620 WCBM Nelson, New York.